With the headphone? Good. All right. Let's work with the clarity there. And then, whoosh, check them. Now let me hear the projector there, because, let me get over the echo, the extra feed in. Right. Right. The volume down, right down. And down. Right.
Yeah. Gloriful in words, gloriful in sound. This is sound better. Gloriful in the highways of the Most High. Turn on down. And next mic. Check. Gloriful in words, gloriful in sound, gloriful in the highways of the Most High. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Yeah. Xavier Masgan. Sata Masagana. Get it better. Yeah, yeah. Praises to the Most High. Clarity. Let we have clarity. Yeah. In Judah is the Lord King Selassie I known. His name is great in Israel. In Salem also his tabernacle and his dwelling place in Holy Mount Zion. Yeah, give bicycle race. Yeah, yeah. The hardy be done echo. So keep on. Yeah, the Most High is and I shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh and I to rise up in green pastures. He leadeth and I beside the still waters. Restoreth and I soul. Highly. Jah Rastafari. Minali Alem. Haile Selassie. The Memphis Kiddos. The Memphis Kiddos, the Holy Spirit. You can see here Amaskan, Satamasagana. Check, check, check. Yeah,
Make sure you notify them so I keep close one time.
all the drummers keep close. Yeah. Holy Mount Zion. Greetings and love.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Go on.
The mic, the two. We're going to use this mic.
This is heavy. Ami. Get one. Yes, I.
This mic. Yeah, Some. Yeah.
You come.
Highly high. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Come here.
All right, let me work with it.
Greetings, one and all. Good to be at Ross Freeman Foundation, RFUR. Ross Freeman Foundation for the unification of Rastafari. And I give enough thanks, and I say good to be in the land of the living. That's why Rastafari must always be loving and giving. It brings great joy when I remember the whole land. How much more will it be when I remember Jah the living man? Let us all forsake our sinful ways, because fire blaze the tide of time, dry nigh. Yes, O thou Most High, please open up the gates and increase I faith. Aye, Jah, will I give enough thanks, enough praises for the life and the time of Eddie, and I must say give enough thanks, you know. All I have a life, and I have to make good use of I life in the land of the living, and I must come to the acknowledgement, knowing that I is not here to stay. All of us just passing through. So as we're in the land of the living, we will always be loving and giving and caring and sharing. Aye. And I give enough thanks. We're not here to mourn, you know. We're just here to send forth our brother peacefully, in the love, in the unity, you know. Let him rest right by the right hand side of the Father Almighty, you know. Because great is the Most High and great is to be praised. From the rising of the sun until the going down thereof, and I say, let the Most High Jah Rastafari be praised. Aye. And I will call upon the elder priest to come deliver up some psalms and chant up the Ethiopia Creed as we proceed on. Give enough thanks. Blessed love, elder Rastafari.
Aye. I say welcome to one and all. It's a Rastafari, you know, the home of Rastafari. A foundation and I set up as the name being the order. So welcome, you know, and I'm glad that I turn out to celebrate the life and the time of Eddie Baynes. One and I brethren, you know, from ancient of days, and I grew up together, you know. So and I give thanks to the life and time for Eddie Baynes, you know, and I brethren. So and I say more life. Because though I might seem dead, and I still live it, you see, because history have made the mark, you know. So and I live on. Hallelujah. Yes, how good and how pleasant it is for and I dwell together in unity and love. It's like the precious ointment upon the head, went down to the beds, even Aaron's bed, they went down to skirt of his garments. It's like the dew of Hermon, the dew descending from the mountain of Zion. The devil living I. Commanded I the blessings, even life and love continually. Hallelujah. Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the ways of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scornful. For I light and love living I. Hallelujah. And in his law shall I meditate day and night, for I shall be like a tree that is planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth thy fruit in due season. And thy life also shall not wither, whatsoever I do it must prosper. The ungodly are not so, but like a chaff the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners the congregation of the righteous. For the Most High, Nor the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly must perish. Hallelujah. Prince and princesses must chariot of Egypt. Stand up, everyone. You know, and I chant. Hallelujah. Everyone, you know, and I chant Ethiopian creed. Listen.
Please ask everyone to rise up as we chant upon the Ethiopian national, the creed, Ethiopia creed. Give enough thanks, enough praises, blessings.
Yes, give thanks. You know, reverence. Hallelujah. Prince and princesses must chariot of Egypt. Ethiopia now stretch forth the hands in the name of the living eye. Hallelujah. O thou, the I am of Ethiopia, and I thine worship. Thou hast shut in the heart, dwell in the paths of righteousness lead I. Help and I to forgive, that I must be forgiven. Teach and I love and loyalty in earth is Mount Zion. And thou and I love and wise my knowledge, thou who standeth thy will. Thy blessed unto I and I almighty I am. Hallelujah. Let the hungry be fed, the naked clothed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, and infants cared for. Deliver I and I from hands of enemies, that I and I must be fruitful in these first days, when enemies are parts in the cave, in the depths of the seas, the depths of the earth, and the belly of a beast. Give I and I place in thy holy kingdom, through the power of King of kings, Lords of lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, thy elect himself, light of this world, and thy divine majesty. Hallelujah. First ancient king of Iration, for Jah the Alpha and Omega, begin without end, first and forever, protectorate of thine I faith and rule of thine verse. So and I hail every eye. Hallelujah. And I hail the most visible and invisible eye. Hallelujah. And I hail the most mighty and the honorable eye. Hallelujah. Bless I and I, sanctify and I, cause the love and countenance to shine upon I, and I must be free from all the ways of the wicked, both now and forever and ever. Hallelujah. Let the words of I mouth, the meditation of I heart, be all accept in thy sight, O the Most High. Hallelujah. For thou art thy strength and thy redeemer, thy long live and reign forever and ever. Hallelujah. As well as singers and the play of instruments shall be there, all thy springs are in the eye. Hallelujah. As it was in the beginning, so world without end, a man's sealer. Hallelujah. And I to celebrate life, because the greatest gift unto man is life. So when I have life, use it wisely, you know, because life is the greatest resource. Hallelujah.
Blessed, we can be seated up. Give thanks. Blessed love. I say greetings once more in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, Jah, King Rastafari. And I give enough thanks, enough praises, for great is the Most High, and great is to be praised. The Most High is great in His work, wise in His counsel, strong in thy power. The Most High live in I and I, dwell in I and I, and will continue in all of I and I. Hallelujah. Jah, for Is the Most High Jehovah is I and I shepherd, and I shall not want. He maketh I and I to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth I and I beside the still waters. He restoreth I and I soul. He leadeth I and I in the paths of righteousness for His name's sake. Yea, though I and I trod through the valley of the shadow of death, I and I will fear no evil, for thou art with I and I. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort I and I. And thou preparest a table before I and I, in the presence of I and I enemies. Thou anointest thy head with oil, and thy cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercies shall follow I and I all the days of our life, and we shall dwell in the house of the Most High forever. Hallelujah. Jah. So it's good that I and I can make the Most High Jah Rastafari as I and I shepherd, and I and I shall not want. Hallelujah. So I give enough thanks and praise for the fullness of life, because the fullness of life is full of giving. The Most High clothed I and I, him that maketh the heavens, him that maketh the earth, him that maketh the lands and the fullness of the seas, and all things that dwelleth therein, the fowls of the air, of the fields, and the fishes of the seas, and whatsoever that shall the depths of the seas. Is the Most High that created them all, and he created I and give I dominions over the works of thy hands, and set all things under thy feet. Hallelujah. So give enough thanks that he give I and I such wise mind, such knowledge and understanding that is all of us have to direct our path. But while directing our path, make sure that is the Most High is your shepherd. Hallelujah. Always keep the Most High, right? The Most High upon the clear, you know. Carry him about, you know, the things that are right. Stand up for the things that are right, you know, at all times, because it's only right shall stand. And righteousness, I endure it forever. It endure it in times, it endure it out of times, and it endure it throughout all times. So we have to do good, give thanks to the Nyabingi drums. When the Nyabingi drums pong, you know, the Nyabingi drums say, do good in the morning, do good in the evening, and good will follow you. Hallelujah. Jah. Well, I give thanks, I give praises still for each and every one that I hear said, well, you know, and I come as the witnesses, you know, and I come as the mothers and the fathers, you know, I and I brothers, you know. So I and I give enough thanks that the Father give I and I a family, so that I and I can live in the family orientated, you know. Always show love, always caring, you know, because life is not just living, you know. Life is this part also too, you know. It's the fullness, you know. We come with nothing, and when we leave, we still live with nothing. As the old people say, once a man still at times, and twice a child said we. But in the house of the Most High, all I and I are children of the Most High. All of we are sheep of his pastures, you know. And we must enter into his gate with thanksgiving, and come unto his courts with enough praises at all times. And I know life is ups and downs, and life is full of good, and I see more evil than the good. But I must know at all times that it is good over evil. It is good over evil, and it's good that is the one that are going to be triumphant. If it's only one good and a million wrong, it's the good that stand out. Hallelujah. So I do what the drum said, do good in the morning, do good in the evening, and good will follow I and I. Well, I give enough thanks, and I give enough praises unto the Most High, you know, which is the source of life and the source of light unto I and I praise him at all times and throughout all times. And I give enough thanks to the members of the Rastafari headquarters, and I acknowledge all one's presence, you know, in this sacred gathering. Hallelujah. It's a very sacred gathering unto I and I, you know, and I must give enough thanks, and I must give enough praises. The Father bless all I and I with some talent, so I and I must utilize I and I talent wisely. Now I and I in the land of the living. So I and I give enough thanks. We give thanks for the life that was entrusted unto I and I for a time, and for the lessons received, and for the love shared, and for the memories created, and for the contribution made. And I give enough thanks for the life and the time of Brother Eddie, you know. Because I know that enough love and enough contribution, and it was enough caring, and it was enough sharing. And I don't forget these values of the brother. Hallelujah. Well, give enough thanks for the brother still, you know, it's a joy. Because I entitle Edward said way. And the virgin had the enticle said way, as Edward said way. And I father Eddie said way. And the virgin had the title as Eddie said way. And I give enough thanks to the life and time of that virgin, because as a small little boy, chatting through the villa areas, because I have a few families and sisters and brothers and so in them areas there. And I usually meet up on this elder, Eddie. And he always give I one warm welcome and one warm greetings, you know. So I know Eddie from such time, even said from a longer time, said way, as a small little boy growing up, said way, you know. And I even say remember him from the yellow truck that he does drive. The yellow Toyota truck that he does drive, said way, you know. So give enough thanks for the life and his time, his family, you know. His loved ones, you know. His mothers and his father, and I give enough praises and enough energy for the times, and I still left. And Eddie left and I with all his love, all his caring, all his sharing. So I have to continue, spread them off on the face of earth. Because anything that is love and caring and sharing belongs to each and every one of I. So give enough thanks and give enough praises for the things, you know, that the brother have done through his life, you know. And I even ask the Father for forgive him. For me, even the sins that he have done willingly and those that he have done unwillingly, said way. And let the brother sit up at the right hand side of the Father Almighty. And I know that I, Father, ever merciful, full of mercy and full of compassion. So as I brother life transit from the physical farm, we must have wisdom to honor what has been, and the courage to accept what is, and the faith to embrace what remains beyond our understanding. So I have a look in with wise mind, knowledge and understanding, and know that all of us just passing through, and we have to give thanks and praises for the fullness of the life that we have while we're passing through. And we don't bury our talent, we multiply the talent that the Father has given unto I and I, which are love, which are caring, which are sharing, you know. And I must have humility, compassion, all them things that I need when I raise a youth, said way. So all I and I raise with such values. He said, let peace rest upon this family and upon the community. Let love be stronger than sorrow. So this is why I say I must have enough faith, and I must have enough confidence, said with that, know that righteousness never die. And memories also live on forever. But this physical will dry up. But the goodness itself liveth amongst I and I. The physical is here to stay. So I have to accept that. And let the memories of this life continue to bear fruit amongst I and I in the land of the living. So I say through faith, through courage and just cause, and I know in this 28th or 21st century, David always slew Goliath, meaning it's good over evil. So give enough thanks. Give enough praises, like I and I jollyful, I and I self, you know, as I and I, you know, depart I and I brother, as I and I brother transit to the higher heights, you know, as we sit up alongside I and I ancestors and them, and I know many ones, many loved ones that gone before the brother, that the brother have a grand time in a Mount Zion. All I and I shall have a grand time, long as I and I do good upon earth, and I have a grand time in a Mount Zion, seated up at the right hand side of the Father. And that must be I and I glory. I and I glory is not to really sit down here and wait for nothing to come from the heavens and nothing to burst out of the heavens, you know. This is I and I blessings. The Father bless I and I with one life and one time, so I and I utilize it wisely. And after I and I depart, I and I spirit go back where it come from, which is by the bosom of the Almighty. And so life go. And life go on and go on and go on. So if myself and I brother Eddie pass in the physical, and I know many other Eddie is with I and I in the physical said way. Blessed love. Hallelujah. Jah. And I call upon brother Ison to come and read up the purpose unto us. Give enough thanks. Blessed love, my brother. Rastafari.
Blessed love. Haile I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Yeah, good day to everyone, all family, friends. Iman is Ras Ison. And Iman had the honor, I call it an honor, of providing meal for this brother right up until his transition, you see? Yeah, this is a brother that Iman know a long time, since my early chatting when we were based at Big Creek. And we used to go over by his gate right there at Jennings, near the secondary school and so forth. A brethren that I always admire the same way, because I'm a man that come through and really admire certain ones that chat Rastafari in terms of the standard, just the way they carry themselves. You see, and people like Haile Goodwin, man like Nagba, Frankai, Shaka, them guys there. And Eddie fall in that same grouping, in my opinion, personally. So I always admire them, man, and aspire to being like them, man, the responsible, respectable persons in the society and so forth. Personally, I'm in a Rastafari, and I recognize that physical passing is not a finality. You see, and so we emphasize transition. A person transition from one state to the next, because he remain alive within the consciousness and the heart and mind of everybody present here right now who acknowledging this proceeding. You see? Haile I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. I man will read the purpose for transition, because as I man say, you know, we have to emphasize transition. I man love the sadness, that death and passing and the finality, you know, that connotation that it carries. You see, because man ever living, that's why I chant in Rastafari, you see. Haile I, Selassie I. The transition ceremony is a sacred gathering convened to honor the life, presence, contribution, and continuing spiritual significance of one who has transitioned from physical existence. The ceremony does not define the transition as an end, but as a movement from one state of existence into another. The body is acknowledged as having completed its physical journey, while the life, influence, memory, teachings, love, and spirit of the individual remain within the living community and within the greater mystery of existence itself. Haile I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. So yeah, I give thanks for this moment, and I here to celebrate the good brethren life rather than mourn his passing. You know, Jah bless this brethren to live from a youth to an elder. Plenty people get cut off way before that. You understand? So it's always a blessing when the Almighty give you a full cup, a full journey from youth and to an old man. And so we're here to celebrate the fact that he has lived a good life. You see, he has been an exemplary person with the Rastafari community, and I would dare say in the wider community of the nation still, you know. So I'm just here to salute the brethren transition, and I know for sure that he will be with the ancestors, and his energy will forever remain within the community and within the heart and mind of all family, friends, and acquaintances. Haile I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Thank you very much.
Haile I, Selassie I. Give thanks, as I said. Give thanks and praises for everyone here as we gather celebrating life. Greeting in the name of the Most High Emperor Haile Selassie and Empress Menen Asfa. In this opening of the sacred space, we gather not merely to mourn the departure of a physical presence, but to honor a life that has touched the lives of others. Today we acknowledge a transition. The physical journey has reached its completion, and we stand together in reverence, gratitude, remembrance, and love. May this space be governed by peace. May our words carry truth. May our memories carry gratitude. May our hearts remain open to the majesty of life and transition. A period of silence, and I can just be quiet for a few seconds. As we know, life goes on. So in acknowledgement of the transition, we formally acknowledge that Ras Eddie Edward Baynes has completed the physical journey of this life and has entered, as the brothers say, transition. And explaining transition, you go forward to the source, because we are basically spirit experiencing a human nature. And if you know anything about spirit, it's an energy, and if you know anything about energy, energy never dies. So our greater self, our higher self, is of the Almighty, because we come from the Almighty, created in the image and likeness of the Almighty. So we are sons and daughters of the Almighty. And it is great to be a Rasta man, because you're chosen, a chosen few. And as a chosen few, it's not that we're better than anybody or we claim that position, but we're here to guide, to be a shepherd amongst the people, to remind you, especially African people, of your greater self, of who you are and who you're supposed to be in terms of a child of the Almighty, because Rastafari reverence God in man concept, man in God concept. So we are here proclaiming the office of Christ, because Christ is an office, Christ is the title. Christ is not no one begotten son, because as I said, we are all children of the Most High. So don't be fooled by that concept. You have to tap into your God energy and rise your God consciousness, rise your God self, and so you can save yourself. No one can save you. And that is the power Eddie Baynes, as a Rasta man, come to show. And the example he lived, a Rasta life, proclaiming of this liberty and this highness of the Most High. So we give thanks. It is not a time to cry or weep. We say weep not. So because therefore we gather in honor rather than only in sorrow. We honor the journey. We honor the lessons. We honor the relationships. We honor the struggles overcome. We honor the love given and received. We honor the presence that Ras Eddie brought into the world. Haile Selassie Jah Rastafari. And we acknowledge that no human life can be reduced to the moment when the physical body ceases to function. So as I say, we go forward to the spirit, and that is just a part of life. And that is not the totality, because it's a transition. We transition, we go forward to the source. And as the brother say, he know that Eddie Baynes is with our ancestors, and we give thanks for he's here with I and I know. Haile Selassie Jah Rastafari. Blessings.
Blessings. And the singers and the players of instrument, it was a tribute, but we're going to sing a song before we go into the tributes. Blessings, singers and players of instruments. We can sing the first song on the sheet, Hosanna. Yeah. Hosanna, Hosanna, unto the King of Kings. Hosanna, Hosanna, unto the Lord of Lords. You are starlight upon the sun and the earth remove. You are starlight upon the waves of the sea, fly right upon the wings of wind. Hosanna, Hosanna, unto the King of Kings. Hosanna, Hosanna, unto the Lord of Lords. You are starlight upon the cherubim, sun and the earth remove. You are starlight upon the wings of the sea, fly right upon the wings of wind. So let the word of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, over in all of Mount Zion, in all of Mount Zion. Hallelujah. Blessed love, give thanks and praises for the singers and the players of instruments. And I will call upon the first virgin to give the tribute. Brother Napba, you know, one of the ancient elders, one of the ancient warriors on the battlefield. When I hear about Eddie, you know, first time I see Eddie, it was Eddie and Napba. And these are the ones that lay down the foundation of the tabernacle when it comes to the electrical works, you know. And I give enough thanks. When Elder Frank, I meet up on this great brother with, you know, with Eddie Baynes said, "Way, yes, my brother, good to be in the land of the living."
Respect, bro.
Rastafari.
Put the mic in there. Greetings, and I gather in the name of His Majesty, Emperor Haile I Selassie I, defender of our faith and the head of the Church of the Nyabingi. Upon hearing of King Edward's passing, a number of poets flew to my head, and everybody was screaming one-liners heard. In so doing, I unselected them, but on my way here with my son, who is an aspiring poet himself, he demanded that I reselect them. And so here we go with the first one, who was screaming, "Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave till close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light." On another side, another poet would have been screaming, "He should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word, like tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day." But before you know it, these two poets were squeezed out by our own poet laureate, and he was saying, "You prepare for one sorrow, but another comes. It is not like the weather. You cannot brace yourself. The unreadiness is all." That was my poetic introduction to I. Baynes. As a poet myself, I say, if I'm bringing in the old poets, I might as, include myself, especially in memory of 2 glorious years Ras Edai and I would have spent on Barbuda. And so I decide to give you the first verse of Barbuda Nights. Barbuda Nights quicken time, where a timeless lagoon took who knows how long to weave a delicate necklace of land around the city called Codrington. Kitchen window of Atlantis, seal of the stargates, there are other worlds that Barbuda Nights do show. And on the horizon, these Antilles are seen as just a glow, and every fisherman is a smuggler until morning comes to show he's just another subject of the empire, making the economy go. Folks, so much for the poetic rendition on Edward Baynes. Edai was a man of integrity, an honest man, a man of purpose. Once Edai gave you his word, he stayed by it. Eddie was very economical with words, but he was very, very precise with figures. He's always crunching the numbers. As you know, or as they say, numbers speak for themselves. Edai was very particular about his food. So much so, he made the market visit a ritual every Saturday that he had to be at the public market. If he missed it in the morning, he made sure he got there in the afternoon. On another level, Edai would have paid his dues to the Antiguan community by teaching a course on electrical installation technology at the University Center at the behest of one Dr. Idris Bird. And he would have also taught a course on electronics at the behest of one Mr. Tim Hector. This course was taught at the corner of Cross and Tanner Street. When it comes to tradesmen, Eddie was somewhat of an impresario. He's always cultivating tradesmen and contractors. If he couldn't get a job for them, he made sure he gave them a job in his yard. On another level, Eddie is one of our great unsung heroes from the point of view of electrical engineering. Eddie would have worked for the Bank of Nova Scotia, Cable and Wireless, Sandals, Millreef Club, Half Moon Bay, just to name a few. Of course, that would not have been easy. You can just imagine what it was like for a Rastafarian engineer in Antigua in the early 80s and the 90s. On one job, one contractor sent his wife to Puerto Rico on 3 consecutive weekends to buy a 3-phase 220 switch. Every time she went, she got it wrong. On her 4th trip, she didn't even bother to check the dealers. She just bought her husband a car and brought it home for him. Eddie took the information, called the people on the phone, and had the switch here in 3 days on a Merryjet. That was the kind of power that Rats Eddie would have wielded. On yet another level, Eddie would have been known among all the Rastafarian mansions. As I said, Eddie was very, very serious about his food, and wherever there were fresh fruits and vegetables, he made it his job to search it out and to find it. At this point, on fear of being too long-winded, because I know that he's here, listening to everything, I would say, Rasadai, rest in peace, and continue to rise in eternal glory. I thank you.
Blessings. We call upon the next tribute, Novell Martin. Give thanks, give praises. Blessed love.
Thank you. So I'm going to give a tribute to my friend Eddie Baynes. I've known Eddie Baynes for almost my entire life. When you've known someone for nearly 70 years, it's difficult to summarize what that friendship has meant. So today, I don't want to give you an account of Eddie's life. I just want to tell you about my friend and the journey we've had together. Eddie and I were boys together, and we were boys who were never bored. Cricket was our passion. When there weren't enough boys for a game, we played one-on-one push-on. Many of you guys probably don't know push-on, but I can tell you later about that. We played street cricket on South Street, Tanner Street, to the alleys, in the pasture above Country Pond, at grammar school grounds, and even up at Lady Nugent. We both admired Sobers and walked around with our collars pulled high, trying to look like him. We were convinced we were destined for greatness. Our actual accomplishments may not have matched our opinions of ourselves, but that never stopped us. When we weren't playing cricket, we played dominoes, cards, drafts, and eventually chess. We raced to Defense Force Club for the first seats at the lazy tables every afternoon. When Mr. Baynes and some of his older men discovered that we played chess, they challenged us. We beat them, and we enjoyed every minute of it. We used to make fun of it. Eddie was usually the one who brought the boys together. Many gatherings took place at his home, up at Casada Gardens, Longford's Estate, Vernon's, and Dutchman's Bay Estates. And because he was the only driver among us with access to his father's Morris Minor, he became our unofficial transportation system. He taught many of us to drive and took us to parties. If he met a girl and things were going well, then you just say, hey guys, I'm out of here, and leave us to find our own way home. But there were actually plenty of other adventures, but some better left untold. Eddie's gift for bringing people together did not end with our childhood. It followed us into adulthood. In 1970, while we were at UWI in Trinidad, Eddie again became the organizer. He found accommodation for 4 of us. We started out with Eddie and I with Nix and Flop. Nix, the guys call him now Shaka, but he was Nix in my time. And when one landlord decided we were too rowdy, he found us another place. This time, for 7 of us, we called that place the Antigua House. It was there that Leo Henry introduced us to bridge. Most of us played casually. Eddie became hooked. A few years after my relocation to Antigua, back to Antigua, Eddie, Franca, and Deverell invited me back to the bridge table. Eddie insisted that I be his partner, giving me the chance to reconnect with my old buddy. From 2013 onward, we remained bridge partners. And playing with Eddie taught me that bridge was about more than just cards. It revealed his character. Bridge can bring out the worst in people. I don't know if you guys have played bridge. Partners lose their tempers, cuss each other out, and blame one another for every bad hand. These guys can tell you about that. That was never Eddie and me, however. We would disagree, but we remained civil. Eddie patiently explained his reasoning, and I listened because I respected his judgment. His calmness was one of the qualities I admired most. In all the years I've known him, I can hardly remember Eddie seriously losing his composure. Then came Dominica. By that time, Eddie was seriously ill. He had been hospitalized, and his doctors advised he was not fit to take a commercial flight. So when he announced that he was coming to the bridge championships, we were surprised. His family tried to dissuade him. It was too risky. They tried to persuade him it was too risky. But Eddie had made up his mind. He was coming. He wanted to play. He wanted to see his bridge friends. He wanted one more tournament. Johannes and I discussed the situation, and I promised to look after him since he was determined to go. So we went. We arranged for wheelchair assistance at both airports and made sure a wheelchair was available throughout the trip. I pushed Eddie around the hotel, took him to the tournament, got his meals, ensuring it met his vegan standards. He is very determined, must be vegan. He refused some of the drinks and stuff. He wants vegan. And we stopped playing whenever he needed to rest. At times we actually had to forfeit a few games because he just needed to go and get some rest. But we were okay with that. We got him there, and we got him back home. Praise the Lord. Well, what I remember most, however, is how happy Eddie was. And he was really happy to have been able to go. He was with his friends, playing bridge and doing something he really loved. I believe he knew this might be his last great adventure, and he was willing to take the risk. That was Eddie. Even in illness, he chose life, he chose friendship, he chose the game he loved. And even then, he was still thinking about the future, bringing young people into bridge, teaching them the game, and strengthening our club. He never stopped looking ahead. I also want to acknowledge Johannes and Charmaine. I met Johannes when he came to Antigua to care for his dad, and I was deeply impressed by the love and devotion he gave, and I told him. Really. Charmaine, Johannes' mom, also returned to Antigua and devoted herself to his care. Thank you both on behalf of my friend. When I think about Eddie, I don't think first about trophies or bridge championships. I think about two boys in Antigua who could find something to do wherever they were. Cricket, dominoes, chess, going to the beach, ride the bicycle out to Longford's, and always another adventure around the corner. That is where our story began. And after many years apart, it found its way back to the bridge table. Somehow it felt completely natural. The boys we had been were still there, only older, wiser, and grateful to have found each other again. Eddie, my brother and my friend. I am grateful for the 13 years we had together after my return to Antigua, and for the laughter, the lessons, the bridge games, and the chance to reconnect and finish this long journey together. You did yeoman's service for bridge in Antigua. You brought together people, taught us, and kept the flame burning. You showed us that bridge is not only a game, it is friendship, discipline, partnership, and community. We will keep that flame burning. So Eddie, my old buddy, after nearly 70 years. I suppose this is where I have to say goodbye, but goodbye cannot erase a friendship like ours. You are in the memories of the boys we were, in the games we played, in the people we brought together, and in every bridge table where your spirit remains. We had one hell of a journey, and I wouldn't trade a moment of it. Rest well, my brother. Rest well, my friend. Glad to have met you. Glad to have known you.
Give thanks, my brother. Give thanks. One thing I think you can tell the people, you know, Eddie, keep beating y'all off on those games that y'all keep playing. Eh? Yeah, we tell us how much licks he just put on you all, but give thanks and give praises still for those times, you know? Yeah, man. We call upon Radford Hills. Radford. Yes, Hills. Give enough thanks and give enough praises, you know? Blessed love, a friend of Eddie.
Yes, yes.
Blessed.
Pleasant good afternoon to all gathered. Permit me to introduce myself. I'm Radford Hill, one of the 7 that Noel talked about in Trinidad. Unlike Noel, I did not have the good fortune of meeting Eddie before he left for St. Augustine campus in Trinidad in 1968 to study electrical engineering. Our first meeting was in 1971 when we asked him to negotiate rental of a home for us 7 students, after we were evicted from another one because of our bad behavior. This was around September 1971, and Eddie, because he was there about 3 years prior, he had come to know the lay of the land. So we gave him the responsibility of finding another accommodation. From that eviction, we secured accommodation at Ali Street, Kirep, in the house that has been famously referred to as, by Nobel, as Antigua House. This was a 4-bedroom house, which was going to be home for all 7 of us Antigua students for the next 3 years, from September 1971 to 74. We all had nicknames. Leo was the eldest and given pride of place. That was a single bedroom fit for a 6.5-foot giant, known to us as Roland and Novel occupied a 2nd bedroom with 2 single beds. Roland was known as Nix, and Novel was known as the whole house man, the whole house man. I won't go any further to tell you what goes along with that. Then there was me and Philip. Mine was a carryover from Cave Hill. I think it was Ingrid Omad who gave me the name Boom Boom. You remember that carnival tune? I think it got, but yes, he played boom boom. My roommate was Flop, and then there were Barry, otherwise known as Scorpion, and last Eddie, the quiet one. Eddie's general demeanor was that of a quiet disposition, but once he was around the table, whether it be dominoes or cards, you saw a very fiercely combative competitor. Oh yes, he participated in all the games we occupied ourselves in playing, dominoes, bridge, and a number of card games to pass the time away. We are talking about students here, right? I don't hear that. I haven't said anything about students studying. All we do is play. Yes. Rules were established for living together. There was no formal organizational chart, but we soon knew what was required of us. We hired a helper to cook and clean. I think we had to do the washing and ironing ourselves. Some fellows would put on their jeans and hit the shower with a scrubbing brush. You can't believe that's what your brothers were up to. The helper had to be paid. When I look back, I remember that she was paid $20 per week. Imagine that. Each bedroom occupants were responsible for collecting funds from each one of us to pay for the expenses of running the house. What I remember is that Eddie loved bacon and tomato. Bacon, Rastaman, and tomatoes. You hear that he would go to the vegetable market every Sunday or Friday, Saturday you said? Yeah, but he carries on that from since we were all together in the 1970s. And you would know that Eddie and Barry were responsible for maintaining the house for that particular month by the number of tomatoes in the fridge. If you were to drive up to the Antigua house, you would immediately think you came from an opulent background back in Antigua. Leo had a Honda motorbike. Eddie had a red motor car. I had a Honda motorcycle and also a car. But this car was special because I think it was Barry Edwards who negotiated the purchase of it from somebody who we refer to as Moby Dick. And she sold me for $300. This car used to break down every weekend, just before the weekend, but we had to get it up and running to head down to Santo Fernando, where the party and the lime was. A lot of skills were honed in the Antigua house. There was the chase for the mango at the back of the house, and the first one to get the mangoes was the keeper. So we then worked out how we were going to get to the mango first. I remember one time using my motorbike to get to a mango and suffered a puncture as a result of that. That taught me a lesson, never to use my motorbike for that purpose again. We were young. I was only 19 of 8 years of age when I got to that house. I was the baby of the bunch. By 1974, we had gone our separate ways. And even though we lived on the same island, except on one occasion when Leo was in town, we hardly ever got together. And we all came together and met at my house for a night out. Eddie has now joined the others of the Antigua house who have passed on over the last few years, Leo, Roland, and Philip. I want to offer condolences to his son, Johannes, Johannes' mother, Charmaine, whom I got to know just today. I also offer condolences to his sisters, Janet, who is not with us here today, Juanita, and Marilyn. May he rest in eternal peace.
Give thanks and give praises. Blessed love, calling on another friend, Francis, Essence. Blessed love, my brother.
Blessed love, thank you. Good afternoon. So my name is Francis Essien. I am this tribute is to not just a friend, but to a mentor, a father figure, and a giant in the industry. By that I mean the electrical engineering and PV energy systems and electrical installation industry. Now, I stand here today with a heart full of gratitude and deep respect as I honor a man who changed the course of my life. When I first came to this country as a young man in my mid-20s, this is just 1998, so that is to say how young I am. I was full of hope, but unsure of my place, and God allowed our paths to cross. I have an electrical engineering technology background, but I was still searching for direction and for opportunity and for someone who will believe in me. Now, Chief, as I will call him, was already an accomplished electrical engineer, experienced, respected, and old enough to be my father. He embraced me like a son. He didn't see me as a stranger who bang water fukumya, trying to find his footing. He saw potential. I mean, he saw someone worth investing in. And from that moment, he became more than a mentor. He became a family. In the electrical engineering and installation industry, he guided me with patience, wisdom, and a generosity of spirit that is rare. He taught me not just technical skills, but discipline, the ethics and the pride that comes with doing excellent work. And how his passion for renewable energy was contagious. And how contagious in the sense that the passion was so contagious that it caused me to enroll with one of the leading institutions in the industry. And I stand here as a certified designer and installer of PV energy systems. Today, I stand as a successful electrical and PV systems contractor, and I can say without hesitation that much of what I have achieved is because of his influence, his encouragement, and his belief in me. He opened doors I didn't even know existed. He shaped my career, strengthened my confidence, and helped me become Thank you. He helped me become the man I am today. His person leaves a void not only in his family, but in all of us who were touched with kindness, with his kindness, his brilliance, and his unwavering commitment to excellence. But his legacy lives on. It lives in the projects he completed, the people he trained, the standards he set, and the many lives he quietly uplifted. For me, his legacy lives in every system I design, every installation I complete, and every young technician I now have in the privilege to mentor. I honor him by carrying forward the values he installed in me: integrity, curiosity, hard work, and love for innovation. To his family, Hans, Auntie Nita, and the rest of the siblings. Please don't get jealous. I was very close to Auntie Nita. I enjoy her rebukes are even pleasant. Thank you for allowing me to be part of his journey and for inviting me to speak today. Thank you. He was and still a great man. In the words of Dr. Miles Monroe, you see a great man not only when he's alive, but when he's dead, what happens behind him. I'm a living testimony of how great Pops Chief Edward Baynes was and still is. May his soul rest in peace and rise in glory. And may his legacy continue to shine like the renewable energy he loves so much, bright, enduring, and full of purpose. Thank you.
Well, and I felt some of the love, and I felt some of the caring and the sharing of the great brother. And I know that he have left them with I, so we just have to make them be fruitful and make them multiply all the goodness, you know, all the caring and all the sharing, all the love, all the compassion and all the humilities, all the teachings, you know, all the lessons. And have to utilize them. Blessed love. We call upon his son, Johan. Give enough thanks. Yes, give thanks, Johan. Baynes, blessed love, my brother. Yes.
Greetings and good afternoon. My dad's name was Edward. Most people knew him as Eddie. In the Jennings community, he was known as Heidi. And amongst his Rastafarian Idrins, he was known as Edi. There are many words I can use to describe my dad. He was peaceful, he was intelligent, he was resilient, and he was stubborn. He was very, very stubborn. If you ever made a suggestion to my dad, you better come with a strong argument, because his first question was always, why? And your answer couldn't be, because that's the way it's done. That was definitely not going to work with Eddie. He questioned almost everything, but his stubbornness was not unreasonable. If you made logical sense, he would listen and he would reason with you. His stubbornness came from a strong conviction. When my dad believed in something, he committed himself to it. He was committed to Rastafari, he was committed to Pan-Africanism, he was committed to the advancement of Antigua and Barbuda. He was committed to a strict vegan diet. He was committed to sustainable energy. He was committed to his garden in Jennings. And of course, he was committed to his love of bridge. But these weren't just passing interests for my dad. They were part of how he lived his life. So I'm going to share a memory of my dad that perfectly captures his nature. In the early 2000s, a hurricane hit Antigua, and I was living with him at the time, and we were without electricity. And most people, when you're without electricity in the middle of a hurricane, you would simply just sit back and wait for APA to put back on the power. Not my dad. He went and got his tools and me to assist him, built an inverter for his pickup truck to use the pickup battery to provide electricity for our essential needs. So about 2 to 3, 4 days, we were using our rev truck, and we had electricity to play chess, I was able to go online to speak to my friends in St. Kitts, and that was how my dad approached things. Okay. And he did this with a calm demeanor. And mind you, this was the hurricane where we had, it was mostly flooding. So the pickup truck, it's in water, about at least 2 feet of water, and we have electricity going by. I'm panicking, but he is completely calm about it. So whenever Eddie was confronted with a problem, he thought about it and he solved it. Eddie moved powerfully in silence. This quality was reflected when we played chess. My dad and I, we bonded over the chessboard. My dad would always play black. He was comfortable sitting in a defensive position and allowing me to make the first move. He would calmly position his pieces and wait. Eventually, I would make a mistake, and Eddie would counterattack, and in a blink of an eye, checkmate. We played probably 300, maybe 400 matches over our lifetime. I beat him maybe 20. And most of the times were when he was a little bit older and I would coop him. I would play the matches a bit late in the evening, around 9 o'clock. And he would get a little sleepy. I'll use that advantage, but a win is a win, right? But looking back, I realized the way how he played chess was also the way how he approached life. He was patient, he observed things, he thought things through, he didn't waste any energy, and when adversity came, he didn't panic. He held his position. Like many Antiguans, Eddie loved the beach. However, going to the beach was simply not an act of leisure. It was part of his fitness routine. And so he would always demand, before we swim, he demanded that we do several laps up and down the beach. As a child, I absolutely hated this tradition because I just wanted to jump in the water, build a sandcastle, go snorkeling and so forth, but he insisted that I always join him laps on the beach. His stubbornness won. Running on the beach became a tradition that we continued for many years. As recently as my last visit to Antigua before he became ill, at the age of 76, we did 4 laps up and down Valley Church Beach. That was our beach that we went. And sometimes he would tell me to do another lap. So that's the man he was. So we sometimes think of stubbornness as a negative quality, but my dad showed another side of stubbornness. Sometimes stubbornness means refusing to abandon what you believe in simply because things become difficult. Sometimes it means questioning the world around you instead of automatically accepting what you're told. Sometimes it means having the discipline to keep on going when it would be easier to stop. Sometimes it means standing your ground quietly until the right moment comes to make your move. My dad lived his life with conviction on his terms. He knew what he believed in, he questioned, he reasoned, and he adapted. So when I think about how I want to remember my dad, I think about that quiet strength. I think about him generating electricity in the middle of a hurricane. I think of him doing the laps on the beach. I think about sitting across from him on the chessboard. And I think about the lesson underneath all these memories. Find what you believe in, understand why you believe in it, commit yourself to it, and when life tests that commitment, hold your position. And my dad and I, we had a special greeting to each other over the past 10 years. We developed this, and it comes from the JoJo morning show, where we would constantly say, touch base. So anytime I called him on the phone, or when he would pick me up at the airport, or I'd go to town to get lunch for him, it was always touch base. So to my dad, as he's here, I want to tell him, touch base. Thank you. But I also want to give a very, very special thanks to a few people. Firstly, I want to thank that gentleman right there, that's Nashan. If you can stand, you have to stand, man. So when I received the call, my dad sent me a message. It was the first time in my life I got a message where my dad said he was not feeling well. And immediately, I was in California, and I messaged who lives next village over. And him and his brother Othniel, they went right away. They didn't say in an hour. They didn't say we'll check him tomorrow. He went right away, checked on him, checked his vitals, and he was able to call the ambulance. So I'm forever thankful for John. I also want to thank Dr. Adama Francis for providing endless medical support, emotional support. Adama and I have known each other since as kids. She knows my dad as Uncle Eddie. Over the past 4 months, countless WhatsApp messages, and she was always available anytime at night. Dr. Adama Francis was there for us, and we appreciate it. The medical staff at Mount St. John's Hospital, the staff at St. John's Hospice, the leaders and the members of the Naibingi for having this ceremony. And also special thanks to Ras Isun, who was delivering food for my dad throughout this whole process and helped me with the ceremony, so give thanks. And of course, a very, very thanks for all friends and family who've traveled from far distances and the support of everyone, the Baynes family and everyone, so I thank you greatly.
Give thanks, give praises. We're going to sing a song or two. We sing Hosanna already, so we go raise up another chant. Singers and players of instruments. As our brother transcend down to the higher heights, you know, to the highest region, you know, where he will sit by the right-hand side of the Father Almighty. You know? Give enough thanks and give enough praises. And I await these glories, said we to you, know. Yes, and I will be resting more than the time that I and I really standing on this earth, you know. So give enough thanks. And I will be smiling, said we with I and I brothers and I sisters and I ancestors, you know, knowing that our spirits live on. Let me see, the singers and the players of instruments. As Rastafari say ever living, Rastafari ever faithful, and we forever sure. And then I hear the voice of the higher one say, Babylon, your chon gandong, gandong, Babylon, your chon gandong. And then I hear the voice of the Rasta man say, Babylon, your chon gandong, gandong, Babylon, your chon gandong. I say to fly away home to Zion, fly away home. I until warm by morning, when my work is over, man will fly away home. And then I hear the voice of the higher one say, Babylon, your chon gandong, gandong, Babylon, your chon gandong. I say to fly away home to Zion. I chanting one by morning. When my work is over, man will fly away home. I say to fly away home, 'cause I fly away home. I chanting one by morning. When my work is over, man will fly away home. Jah, going Mount Zion now. There is no sorrow. Going Mount Zion now. There is no pain. Oh, I Jah. I know it's a blessed be thy holy name. Give enough thanks, enough praises for the singers and the players of instruments. Give enough thanks, praises. Blessed love, I will call upon Brother Ison. Blessed love, the transitionality, the physical into the spirit, you know. Blessed love.
Blessed love and greetings once again. At this point in the ceremony, we'll do the release of the physical form of life. Yea, the physical form carries the life of Ras Eddie through this earthly journey. We honor the body for the service it rendered. We acknowledge that the physical vessel has completed its purpose. We therefore release this form with gratitude, dignity, and peace. We do not release love. We do not release the lessons. We do not release the memories. But we do release. Neither do we release the influence of his life upon all of us. These remain with us. He has now transitioned from manifestation to power. This means that we can relate to his energy in prayer, in quiet moments internally. I must say to my brethren, I can call me brethren, this is Johan, Ras Eddie's son, that when a person transitions from manifestation to power, according to the African tradition, we now can relate to them. We can have communication with them within. Everyone that come to this podium today and speak of the attributes of Ras Eddie has basically give us like an energy signature that we can all relate to. His stubbornness and so forth. And the definition, the creative definition that you have given to his stubbornness, through that said energy, we can draw from him and we can harness that strength that he has energetically through the Spirit. Hail I, Selassie I. So yes, we release his form right now. We have all come here. We have given our testimonies and attributes. And now we can rest with a certain inner peace, a certain stillness when we reflect upon the richness of the life that he has led. Hail I, Selassie I. Man personally never had a lot of communication with this brother, but I was mystically chosen to enter into his life, I can say, as he approached transition. And for that reason, man personally felt moved to play a part in arranging this service and to bring a certain focus to the proceedings, rather than, as I say, come here and mourn loss and all the rest of it. We come here and we celebrate and we highlight the positive attributes of the brethren, and we draw from that to enrich all of our lives. Hail I, Selassie I. Man personally, my father transitioned about 2 months ago. Likewise. And I remember when we started having the meeting to organize his service, I went and I told them, listen, I cannot relate to funeral procession with this sad, traumatizing vibe. You understand? So I emphasized that I would wish for us to approach it more in the spirit of celebration, of celebrating his worth and his value as he expressed them in living flesh. And so I suggested that approach to the service to the good brethren, his son, Johan, and he accepted for us to approach it this way. And as I sit and I hear the different persons that come to the podium and the things that they say about him, I mean, personally, I never knew him that way. So I can manfully say that it was really fitting to approach the ceremony with that kind of spirit of celebration, rather than the sad mourning spirit, as if to suggest, oh, it's a tragedy, it's a loss. It's no loss, it's a transition from one state of being to the next. He is now with the ethers. He is now with the ancestors. And we can now say, he lives. Haile I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari.
Give thanks, Colin, and the singers and players again as we sing the final song. Got to have a new name in that land. And then will be the acknowledgement of the families. And then we'll make Brother I will seal up and I with the Ethiopian Our Father prayer. And we all will be standing when we chanting the Ethiopian Our Father prayer in Amharic. We chant it in English and then we'll put it in Amharic. Haile Jah. So we call upon the singers and the players of instruments. Haile Jah. Chanting God to have a new name in the land, in the sunny land. Rastafari is a new name, precious name, in that chanting God to have a new name in the land, in the sunny land. I chanting God to have a new name in the land, in the Zion. And I will call upon the high priest, Brother Sealer, to come and give a word sound to the family. And then we will seal it with the Our Father prayer in English and in Amharic. Blessed love, my brother. Blessed love.
Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, and all hail unto Her Royal Highness, Wazira Asa Menen, Walete Georges. We do give thanks and praise as we celebrate, as we commemorate the life and time of our dearly beloved brethren, a Pan-Africanist, a freedom fighter, a son of Rastafari, a champion, an icon, a pioneer of the Rastafari, Nyabingi order and faith. So we do give thanks as we remember the glory and the suffering of our ancestors, and as we honor the struggle of our elder, as we strive to bring new value and new life to our people. We'll be loving, caring, sharing. We'll be creative. We'll study. We will learn that we may teach. We may listen that we may learn. Learn that we may teach. We do give thanks. We in Ethiopia have one of the oldest versions of the Bible. However old the version may be, in whatever language it might be written in, the words remain one and the same. It transcends all empires, all boundaries, all conception, all race. Let it be no doubt, it is eternal. Have you all not read in the Acts of the Apostle, when Philip baptized the Ethiopian official? He was the first Ethiopian on record to have followed Christ. And the Ethiopian Tewahedo Orthodox Church was the oldest Christian church in the world. And from that day on, the word of God continued to grow in the hearts of Ethiopians. And I myself may say at an early childhood, I was taught to appreciate love the Bible, and my love for it grew to the passage of time. Come unto me, all you that are burdened and heavy laden. Who can resist an invitation so full of compassion? Because of my personal goodness in the Bible, I resolve that all people should glory. Today, when man see all his aspiration crumbling before him, he's perplexed. He know not where he's drifting. He must realize that the Bible is I and I refuge. Yeah, in it we will find solution to our problem, guidance to our future action. Unless he accept the Bible with a clear conscience, he cannot hope for salvation. And I would refer to a scripture in the Bible, Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, that it states, any man that denies the resurrection denies the creation of man. For God formed man from the dust of the earth and breathed into him the breath of life, the prana, the chi, the ruach in Hebrew, and he became a living soul. And according to Corinthians 2, he said, a time will come that the corruptible shall take on incorruption, and the mortal shall take on immortality. And the saying shall be said, death, where is thy sting? And grave, where is thy victory? For the final enemy to overcome is death. As our Lord said, our Father who art in Zion, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in the heavens. So we give thanks and praise for the time and the life of our beloved elder. I will acknowledge the family acknowledgement. We recognize those who stood close to Bongo Ras Eddie Baynes. We recognize the children, parents, siblings, partners, relatives, friends, and all whose lives were intimately connected to his life. May you find strength in one another. May you permit yourself to grieve without shame. May you remember without being imprisoned by your sorrow. And may the love that remains become a source of strength rather than only a reminder, absence. I pray thee, give thanks, let the words of thy mouth and the meditation of thy heart be ever wholer and acceptable in thy sight, O the Most High. Blessed love, blessed.
Before we say the prayers, I was asked to do the final words of closing. And let we be reminded that this transition ceremony is now concluded, but the relationship does not end here. The ceremony ends, the gathering ends, the physical presence, though, has transcended. But the life continue in memory, in influence, in descendants, in relationship, in lessons, in love, and in the continuing movement of existence. Give thanks for life, honor the transition, and continue the journey. The assembly may proceed after in reception and gathering with a good meal from Rasa Isern. Give thanks to everyone who coming forward. Rastafari. Blessed.
Yes, give thanks to the giving of thanks, you know. It's a good thing when I celebrate life, you know. So when I look around and I give thanks to the contribution that I made, and I must make myself known as a people. When you have one talent, share it, and keep it. Teach others, you know, from generation to generation. Hallelujah. I, Father, who art in Mount Zion, I hold thy holy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. Hallelujah. Give thanks to the giving of thanks, you know, reverence. Hallelujah. Our Father, who art in heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth is Mount Zion. Give I and I this day our daily bread. Forgive I and I all and I trespasses, as I and I forgive those who trespass against I and I. Lead I and I not into temptation, but deliver I and I from all evil. Live in thy kingdom, the power and the glory forever and ever. Hallelujah. Rise up, all ye mighty people, and take a stand. Make a mark, you know. Be a figure in life. Hallelujah. And I will now say the prayer.
Yeah, he that descended is the same that ascend up far above all heavens, that he may fill it all things. Hallelujah. Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Salat. Abatachinoi, Besame Yamitno, Semi Yakidas, Mengeshte Timta, Quad Besame, Indiana Chindu, Bemideration, Yell that Injurachinin, Sitin Zaire, Berlachinim Yik, Belan Ena, Yabralanin Yik, in the middle, Wedepetanan, Atakban, Kikifu, Adenin, Inji, Mengesh, Natina, Hai, Miss Ganan, Lezala Lemui, Aman, Sila. Hailai, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Let the words of I mouth and the meditation of I heart be forever whole and acceptable in the eyesight of the Most High. Haile Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, for Jah, thy strength, and thy Redeemer, thy who long live and reign forever and ever. Haile Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Blessed and holy love, the congregation. May Jah grace us.
Well, we're going to ask for a contribution to the tabernacle, and we're also going to be hearing from the superstars, and we have refreshments up in the forward, so give thanks. Rastafari.
The plate, you die.